Hello, doctor. How are you? I hope you are pretty good. Today I am here to present my test proposal presentation. And the topic is an exploration of grade 9 students' vocabulary learning strategies in Adola Secondary School. So we will see about the importance of vocabulary in language learning and how vocabulary learning strategies may affect the students' vocabulary learning. When we begin from the background of the study, as we know, English language has four major skills: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So in order to be good at these four major skills, the knowledge of this vocabulary is very important things. In learning and teaching language, learning vocabulary is something very essential since words play a great role in communication and listening and reading and speaking. We need this vocabulary. Without vocabulary, we couldn't even open our mouths. So it's very important. It's also recognized that vocabulary learning strategies the students use may have great impact on the success of their vocabulary learning according to Hodge. So whenever the students know the importance of vocabulary, they may use the right strategies. And according to Geo and Johnson in 1996, the most successful learners use the wide range of vocabulary learning strategy, and this in turn helped them to be successful vocabulary learners and language learners in general. Therefore, there are variety of learning strategy that the students may use. It depends on the student's style, attitude, and the students may have different kinds of strategy. For this reason, we don't say this strategy is best and this one is not good, because it can be determined by the students and it depends on the nature of the students. But what we need to do here is we have to show the students different kinds of strategies, and so that they know how to use and when to use this strategy. Mastering vocabulary is one of the most challenging tasks that any learners face while acquiring another language, according to Nikios in 2007, because vocabulary knowledge is multidimensional and complex construct. However, students should learn to be an independent learner because they will not be in school forever. Therefore, to possess an extensive knowledge of English language, exploring vocabulary learning strategy is crucial for the researcher. The next point is statement problem. In statement problem, we'll see what kinds of problem the learners face to learn vocabulary and what kinds of challenges the teacher may face because of those learners. As long as English is compulsory and medium of instruction, again, the students are expected to have sufficient knowledge of this vocabulary. They are expected to have a good capacity of this vocabulary. According to Smith, the higher strategy used may be the result of learners' awareness of importance of vocabulary, and the most efficient way to increase learners' awareness is to provide strategy training. However, students seem to have difficulties in listening, in reading, in writing, and in speaking. This might be because of insufficient knowledge of vocabulary, and it might be uh, because of their incapability of the knowledge of this vocabulary, and this comes from the lack of using vocabulary learning strategies, according to researchers' belief. One of the problems, according to Lagan in 1985, is that students copy a meaning of new words from dictionary. They simply copy the meaning without giving emphasis to spelling and pronunciation. That's what the researcher by himself faces. The students most of the time use dictionary, but they don't know about how that word is pronounced and the word parts of that speech and the collocation words. They don't consider these things even though knowing words consider all these things. This is major problem. Again, when the students look at dictionary, words may have different meanings, but they don't define that word contextually. They always define from dictionary, and that might be the challenges the students face. So due to this reason, English teachers in Adola Secondary School faces so many difficulties, and they encounter many difficulties in teaching English as a foreign language. Therefore, besides another factor like lack of motivation and language difficulties, vocabulary learning strategy is one of the problems that hinder or affects the student's capacity of vocabulary. In accordance with my topic, there has been the studies conducted in Ethiopia on vocabulary learning strategies. One of the study is conducted by Ababa Gabratsadik in 1997 on strategy of vocabulary learning employed. So the findings indicate that a wide range of English vocabulary acquisition strategies were reported by target sample students, but only few of strategies were reported to be used by large number of students. And the second study was conducted by Jailan Aman on vocabulary learning strategies used by grade 9-11 students at Milik Scenery Secondary School in Addis Ababa. He found that the majority of students seems rarely use most of strategy investigated, and the third study was conducted by CETEN, whereas the current researcher initiated to conduct research on an explorating students' vocabulary learning strategy due to the above mentioned problem vocabulary learning strategies use. The next topic is objective of the study. Here we will see about general objective and the specific objective. The general objective is to explore secondary school grade 9 students' vocabulary learning strategy use. When we look at specific objective, there are 3 specific objectives according to the researcher. The first objective is to explore whether grade 9 students use specific learning vocabulary strategy or not. The second one, to examine students' challenge in use of different vocabulary strategies. And the third one, to find out the relationship between vocabulary learning strategy use and vocabulary learning achievements. The next point is research question. To achieve the desired goal of this study, the following basic questions are stated. The first question is, are grade 9 students use specific vocabulary learning strategies? And the second one, what kinds of challenges the student may face during vocabulary learning use? And the third, is there any relationship between vocabulary learning strategy use and language learning achievement? So these are research questions. The other one is the significance of the study. The present researcher hopes that the attempt made in this study may help grade 9 students to revise their vocabulary learning strategy use, and it also helps to increase their vocabulary learning strategy use and vocabulary size. And moreover, it creates self-awareness in increasing unfamiliar words for all learners of English language. It may also help students to raise their own awareness of the existence of diversified strategy. And the scope of the study will be delimited on grade 9 students, Adola Secondary and Preparatory School. Limitation of the study, there might be different limitation of the study. The first one, as long as the study focused on only learning strategy, vocabulary learning strategy use, there might be another factor that can affect the vocabulary, like lack of motivation, language difficulties. And again, 4 major skills are not considered in this study. And the other one is there might be lack of sufficient data because of students' unwillingness and because of their capacity. This is the researcher expectation that may limit or it might be the limitation of the study. The other one is research methodology. In research methodology, we will see population of the study, and we will see the data collection instrument and how our data can be analyzed. From the beginning, when we look at population of the study, as I have told you before, the source of the study will be grade 9 students Adola secondary and preparatory school. According to information from the school, in 2013, there will be 400 students that going to join the school. Within 25 students in each class. The total number of class might be 16. Research design. In research, descriptive types of research design which involves both qualitative and quantitative technique will be employed. These techniques are chosen because they can provide information concerning the status of current practice of vocabulary learning strategies in English as a foreign language in high school. Therefore, both qualitative and quantitative techniques help the researcher to draw the valid conclusion of advanced planning of method to be adapted for collecting relevance data, and both techniques will be used during analysis. Sample size and sampling techniques. In order to accomplish the study, the probable sample technique, particularly lottery method, will be used. Of total 400 population, the researcher will select 7 students from each class using random sample techniques. This is to give equal chance for all the respondents, and therefore the total number of participants will be 112. So the researcher believes the selected respondents will guarantee the rest of the classes or the rest of the students. The other one is research instrument. There are 3 research instruments. The first one is questionnaire, the second one is vocabulary learning test, and the third one is interview. Questionnaire will be used to examine the students, it is used to examine the students' vocabulary learning strategy use and the challenges the student may face while using vocabulary learning strategy. And the total number of questions will be 30. This is within 25 open-ended and within 25 close-ended and 5 open-ended question, because both close-ended and open-ended will have their own great value on collecting data. The next one is vocabulary level test. This vocabulary level test will be given to check the student's vocabulary achievement. The subject will be divided into high and low proficiency group by the means of test score. Both receptive and productive vocabulary level will be used. This is to examine learners' vocabulary size and the overall vocabulary size approach which will be employed. The interview will be used to gather more information to know the relationship between vocabulary learning strategy use and vocabulary learning achievement. It is for sample students that are selected purposely based on their test result. So the researcher will interview 6 subjects with high and low achiever students. The interview question will be open-ended, 6 open-ended questions. Data collection process. The student will be briefly oriented before they will fill out in the questionnaire. The questionnaire will be distributed and collected with the assistant. After carefully gathering appropriate data, using questionnaire, vocabulary test will be given for the selected student and the researcher will interview them according to their test result. The last point is method of data analysis. The researcher will use both qualitative and quantitative research method. The qualitative data will be analyzed qualitatively throughout depending on students' response on the interview question, and quantitative data will be interpreted using frequency and percentage method. Furthermore, the relationship between variables will be examined in the present study. Then after, the data will be analyzed and interpreted. Finally, data will be summarized. This is the presentation of my thesis. Thank you very much, Doctor, for revising my videos and my presentation. Thank you.